Well, we're 12 weeks into the Biden administration, and this feels like deja vu. Usually you find out if spring and summer is coming if a groundhog misses his shadow. Now you know warm weather is coming when riots have let loose, and looting has begun, and protesters have hit the street to fight against racial injustice and police brutality. Last week, Dante Rice was shot and killed after he resisted arrest and Officer Kim Potter mistook her firearm for her taser. This heightened the civil unrest in Minnesota that has continuously been brewing since the killing of George Floyd. And as closing remarks are to be made soon in the Derek Chauvin trial, the defense is concerned that the jury will be persuaded by these new developments and has asked that the jury be sequestered.
I understand it's not this case. I understand that it does not involve these same parties. But the problem is that the emotional response that case creates sets the stage for a jury to say, I'm not going to vote not guilty because I'm concerned about the outcome.
I agree. No one wants justice by default. Let that man have a fair trial and let the evidence speak for itself. The jury doesn't need any distractions. And trust me, we're being distracted. When is the last time you heard about Andrew Cuomo's nursing home deaths? Did we find out where all the money went that the Vatican sent Australia? Is Bill Gates still trying to spray chalk in the sky? Is Biden going to join back into the Iran nuclear deal? Are we seriously packing the Supreme Court? And what is going on at the border? And where the hell is Kamala Harris?
We have plans in the work to go to Guatemala as soon as possible, given all of the restrictions in terms of COVID and things of that nature.
Going to Guatemala? We need you at the U.S. border, dealing with these children in confinement. After weeks of dodging admitting the border is a crisis, Joe Biden finally cracked, and the White House is scrambling to do damage control, claiming that Biden misspoke.
The president does not feel that children coming to our border seeking refuge from violence, economic hardships, and other dire circumstances is a crisis. He does feel that the crisis in Central America, the dire circumstances that many are fleeing from, that is a situation we need to spend our time, our effort on, and we need to address it if we're going to prevent more of an influx of migrants from coming in years to come.
But did he really, Jen? Arizona is dispatching the U.S. military down to the border because the cages, boxes, shipping containers, or whatever you call these holding facilities are still packed, running over, and out of control. Speaking of out of control, back in the courtroom.
Specifically referencing that an elected official, United States congressperson, was making what I interpreted to be, and what I think are reasonably interpreted to be, threats against the sanctity of the jury process, threatening and intimidating a jury, demanding that if there's not a guilty verdict, that there would be further problems. So I had moved, based on this again, for a mistrial.
He's talking about you, Maxine Waters. Yes, the same Maxine Waters that said,
if you see anybody from that cabinet in a restaurant, in a department store, at a gasoline station, you get out and you create a crowd. And you push back on them. And you tell them they're not welcome.
And so it frightened a lot of people. And of course, the lying president said that I had threatened all of his constituents. I did not threaten his constituents, his supporters. I do that all the time, but I didn't do it that time.
Has again opened her mouth and inserted foot, and is now on camera saying,
we're looking for a guilty verdict. If nothing does not happen, then we know that we've got to not only stay in the street, but we've got to fight for justice. We've got to get more confrontational. We've got to make sure that they know that we mean business.
Are you serious? In the middle of a trial? Maxine, you are an elected official. Did you seriously back the jury in the corner and incite violence? And then go back to your mansion and leave us to pick up the pieces of our cities? Not only are you useless, being that your district is a hot mess and you don't even live in the area, but you're reckless and a hypocrite from hell, and you have given Chauvin grounds to appeal the verdict. You need to be impeached. Speaking of the verdict is in.
We, the jury, in the above entitled matter as to count 1, unintentional second-degree murder while committing a felony, find the defendant guilty. Third-degree murder, perpetrating an eminently dangerous act, find the defendant guilty. 3, second-degree manslaughter, culpable negligence, creating an unreasonable risk, find the defendant guilty.
Wow. I didn't see that coming. Well, we know one thing for sure. He's definitely going to appeal. But for now, let the church say, Amen.